Hello and welcome to Connect. I'm your host, Randy Shabilo. On today's show, we'll have Brenda Wallace from Habitat for Humanity, as well as Kirby Werchenko from the Juno Fest Committee. As always, we want to connect with you, and here's how. Tweet us at connect_YXE, follow us on Facebook to watch new and past interviews, or email us at connectyxe@gmail.com. Habitat for Humanity is open. It was closed for a little while, and we have the CEO, Brenda Wallace, here to give us some insight into what that project looks like and the ongoing improvements. Brenda, thanks for taking some time today.
Oh, my pleasure. Thanks for the invitation.
I appreciate you coming here because I've had so many people ask about Habitat's closed. I went there, they were closed. What's going on? And I thought, they're open now. Let's get you here and talk about it.
You know who to ask.
Tell us a little bit about what happened, why it closed, and where you're going now.
Yeah. Well, we're really excited to be reopened for sure. And we closed for very good reasons. We actually were finding that it wasn't as shoppable as we needed it to be. We were getting a lot of inventory that was old and piling up, and it was very difficult to get down some of the aisles, in fact. So we took the opportunity when we wanted to clean out the store and do the inventory to actually shut it down and do some renovations at the same time. So we insulated the whole building. We've given it a fresh coat of paint inside, starting to try to reflect what's going on in the neighborhood around us with an urban industrial aesthetic, make it more appealing to a broader audience in our community and to better serve the community. So we reopened on January 15th. And the response has been very positive from people who've come back to the store. It's very bright and airy and open. We got rid of all the high shelving. We now have much more of a typical retail environment, so you can see from department to department where you might want to go and find those treasures that you're looking for.
So the concept of Habitat for Humanity is not just a Saskatoon-only store. There's many more of these.
For sure. We are one of a network of a number across the country. There's about 54 affiliates across the country that are part of Habitat for Humanity Canada. Some affiliates have several restores because they're a great way to raise funds to do this very expensive thing, which is to build housing for people whose housing needs are not being met in their communities. That's really what it's about. We wanted to make sure the restore could be as financially successful as possible so that we could start ramping up our housing activity here in Saskatoon, because the need is significant and growing.
So you would take the sale and profits from the sale of those items and put it into housing for people that need that.
That's right. And, we're so fortunate to have the support of the community. It's not only donors that are individuals as they're, making renovations to their home or they're doing some decluttering in their life. And those items are making their way to the restore to have a second chance instead of going to the landfill. But it's also companies. When they have their inventory in year end, they find they have surplus items. The restore provides a really good alternative for, again, them needing to take
disposal
things to the...
of that.
That's
so
right.
Sold.
That's right. So we're part of that circular economy in the waste world, and we're also then generating funds that goes toward housing people here in Saskatoon, because the need is significant. They say that here in Saskatoon, 1 in 5 families are at an income level where their housing needs are not going to be met in an affordable way. And Habitat for Humanity not only tackles affordable housing challenges, but we also work on home ownership to stabilize families, help build self-reliance and some security for them.
How would that model work? You have a very keen interest in this because of your previous relationship with Saskatoon Housing Initiatives Partnership or SHIP. What have you seen in that transition for people that need housing and how they actually get that equity into their home?
Yeah, it's a wonderful thing home ownership is, and here in Saskatchewan and in Saskatoon, the majority of citizens do have access to home ownership, and that's a great thing. But there's a lot that don't. And the thing about home ownership is that it leverages and unlocks actual wealth for people so that they can achieve other things in their lives. A lot of the homeowners that participate in the Habitat program, for example, end up going to university. Their children are seeing higher education outcomes, and it's really opening up opportunity. They tend to put roots down in the community too. In some places, and again, you mentioned I was with Saskatoon Housing Initiative Partnership. I was the founding executive director there. And I remember stories of families where, their children might have started a school year in one school and then moved progressively 8 times before they completed that school year.
In the same year?
In the same school
wow.
year. So if you can imagine how disruptive that is for people. That's what gets me so excited about working on home ownership, is not only is it providing safe, secure, and affordable shelter for these families, but it's actually allowing them to be part of a community, a school community, have neighbors that they can look out for each other. So it's something that I do believe fairly strongly in, and we've seen those results. When we've seen those results, the Habitat model is really a compelling one, and it's showing great results across the country.
So it's not just a family that would build and pound nails and do all of that. There are teams that can also volunteer to help.
For sure, and I'd say that's one of the other things that's really compelling for people about the Habitat is it's one of the few places where you can roll up your sleeves. It's not just about giving your money, it's also about contributing your time and perhaps developing talents that you haven't had before either. I'd say one of our more popular programs has been the Women's Build, for example, where females in our community, they may have never had a chance to work a table saw or, maybe be part of framing a basement or doing insulation or some tiling projects. And this is a way for them to learn in a safe and supportive environment how to do that. Maybe gives them the confidence to take on some DIY projects in their own home, or at least understand and appreciate what's involved as they think about being involved in renovating their own homes.
So they could buy those items at the Restore as well.
And we're great for that. And you talked about where we're headed with the Restore. So we've just finished what I will call phase 1 of reimagining the Restore and what it could do to serve this community in Saskatoon. We have ambitious plans for phase 2. That would include a drive-through donation center. It would include a whole new front veranda and freshening up the exterior of the building so we're a better neighbor and more noticeable. People do sometimes struggle with where is the entrance? And more importantly, so that we have an opportunity to have program space so that we could be training volunteers, but also maybe offering some do-it-yourself classes to help people plan their projects, whether that's a renovation project or repurposing and upcycling items that they find at the Restore.
How many homes would they have done in the city? Would you know that?
Yeah,
more or less?
It's more than 60, and we're actually just in the process of wrapping up a 12-unit condominium over on Slimmin Road. So we're very excited about that. We'll be holding a community celebration in the spring for that project. And we're working on a duplex, our youth build, on Avenue W South right now as well. So we've had some impact, but I think there's a much greater opportunity for Habitat to have a bigger impact, and that's what we're working towards. That's why we want the Restore to be financially successful, so we can leverage deeper impact on the housing need in this community.
Just jarring a bit of a memory that I have of some industrial arts programs within high schools. Do they get involved with some of their students? Mount Royal, I think, has a program.
They do, yeah.
Do they offer any training through actual hands-on experience?
Absolutely, and I think that's one of the things another reason why I'd like to see the number of homes that we have under development in the community be expanded, because there is that need for skills and on-the-job training and opportunities. The Mount Royal program is one of a number in the Saskatoon area, and we'd like to be able to accommodate all of those programs.
Well, I think it's a good grassroots way of doing that, and I know we've had Chris Garrett from the Home Builders Association here talking about the need for that skill set as we move on and others retire. When you see the vision for Habitat for Saskatoon, there must be some partnerships with being able to buy land, and the city must help out some way. How do you bring that all together to actually get this parcel of land to have a home on it for someone?
You know, putting together an affordable housing project is more art than science, for sure, in that it requires many layers of support from a variety of partners. And it's interesting that you would mention the home builders. Habitat is a builder member in that association, because we feel it's really important that what we're providing is a professionally produced and high quality home, so that homeowners aren't going to be having problems down the road. Because, I mean, these are people that this is their first time owning a home. So it means that we have to take advantage of government programs as they are available. We do fundraising. We rely on attracting volunteer labor to help bring the cost of the build down. And of course, the money that we raise at the Restore is foundational to all of that. So it's a many-layered cake in order to pull that home project together. And increasingly, the homes that we build are not a single-family home or a duplex, because that's not really that affordable. It is more of that multi-unit dwelling kind of a complex, which, now you have engineers and architects involved in the design of those projects, and the safety and other aspects of that project are more complex to deliver. And Habitat that's why we feel it's important to be part of the home builders, that we need to be able to make sure that we are approaching that in a professional way and a safe way.
Yeah, there's a standard of excellence that you're
bet.
observing and adhering to.
That's right.
If you saw the opportunity for someone to get involved, how does that process start from someone that may be watching that says, that sounds like us as a family? How would they know that?
Yeah, so they would go through our website habitatsaskatoon.ca, and we have a pre-application process you can do right there on the website. And the families that we're looking for are those that are going to really qualify under 3 pillars, I'll call it. So one is that they have that affordability, that income that's below the income limit that's been established by each province in Canada. That gets updated periodically. So their income's below that income threshold. That's pillar 1. Pillar 2 is that they're currently living in substandard conditions, whether that be in poor repair, crowded, a variety of issues going on. And we do home visits to confirm that there is a housing need at present. And the third pillar is about being a willing ambassador and partner with Habitat. These families are going to be swinging a hammer, they're going to be volunteering, and they have to put in a minimum of 500 hours in order to enter into a homeownership agreement with Habitat. But they also, they're going to be paying off the appraised value of that home through a mortgage. We make that affordable to them by always gearing it on 25% of their income. So it, we'll be patient in how long it takes for that money to come back to us, and it's our commitment to keep that affordable to them. But they have to meet us halfway by making sure that they're willing to and going to be able to make those payments, that they're interested in improving their life circumstance so that that's not a really long period of time. We want to see that be a reasonable time.
I think the program is wonderful. It's great to see you at the helm, and I wish you all the success in the world.
Thank you.
With the new store finally getting open, and we'll see you at the next ribbon cutting for the new home coming up soon.
Sounds great. Thank you, Randy.
Stay with us, folks. We're coming right back.